All right, so today we're diving into a career path that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I mean, it's both creative and you're outside, like literally working with nature,
Mm,
landscape gardening.
yeah.
And this whole deep dive is about getting you ready for that interview,
Yeah.
using some really helpful resources from RoleCatcher.
It's a good one to look at.
It is like a cheat sheet, but better because you get insider tips too.
Mm-hmm.
So you can really stand out.
Yeah, what's interesting is that landscape gardening, it's kind of gone beyond just mowing lawns. It's
Right.
more like design and horticulture
Yeah.
and a pretty deep understanding of sustainability and the environment.
And RoleCatcher's career guide actually really gets into this.
It does.
It shows how, landscape gardeners are like transforming outdoor spaces.
Yeah.
Like from gardens to parks, even those rooftop gardens you see popping
Yeah.
up everywhere.
Yeah, all over.
And the best part is this field is supposed to grow like a lot over the next decade.
Huge growth.
10%.
Yeah, so many opportunities out there.
Yeah, it's really blooming.
That's where RoleCatcher comes in, though, right?
Yeah.
They're free resources,
Yeah.
like their career guides, their skill guides, and especially helpful for today, their interview guides.
It's true.
They break down the most common questions you'll get asked in an interview,
Yeah.
and then they give you strategies for making answers that really show you're an expert.
It's like having your own career coach.
Yeah, in your pocket.
Right in your pocket.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, so let's just jump right into some of those interview questions
Okay, let's do it.
and figure out how to ace them.
All right, so let's start with one that might seem kind of simple.
Okay.
At first, on the surface.
Yeah.
Can you tell us about your experience working with various types of plants and trees?
Okay, so it's not just like listing off plants you've seen, right?
No, definitely not.
Come across.
The interviewer wants to know that you know your stuff, like how deep your knowledge is. So think about the details of how you take care of plants.
Yeah.
How do you prune different trees?
All right.
What are the warning signs for common pests or diseases?
Okay.
Have you ever had to change the soil to make the drainage better
Oh, interesting.
and to add nutrients that were missing?
Right.
Things like that.
So it's not just the what, it's
Yeah.
the why
Exactly.
behind how you care for plants.
hmm
Now, I noticed that RoleCatcher actually can analyze how these questions are worded
Yeah.
and give suggestions on how to answer.
It's really cool. It's like having an extra set of eyes to make sure you're getting all the important points
Wow.
that the interviewer wants to hear.
Yeah,
And you can even get feedback on your resume, too, with
Yeah.
their AI resume builder.
that's awesome.
Yeah.
It takes out the guesswork.
Totally.
Totally.
Yeah.
Okay, so next question. This one's about the design process.
Okay.
How do you approach the design process for a new landscape project?
All right. This is where you can show off your design thinking. Think of it like this. You're not just planting flowers. You're creating a whole experience.
No, yeah, like an outdoor experience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So walk the interviewer through how you do it. How do you take what the client wants and mix it with things like sunlight and soil, type
Right.
water, and of course, budget.
Right.
Do you start by checking out the site?
Yeah.
Do you sketch out ideas or use software
Right.
to picture what it'll look like at the end?
Yeah.
That's a big one, mentioning software like AutoCAD or SketchUp.
Yeah.
That shows, tech and that you can actually make those designs real.
Yeah. Shows you're thinking about the practical side of things too,
Mhm.
not just how it looks.
Right.
Which brings us to the next question, which is all about a super important skill for any landscape gardener.
Okay.
How do you prioritize tasks and manage your time effectively on a job site?
This is all about showing you're organized.
Okay.
Things don't always go as planned when you're dealing with landscaping.
I can imagine.
The weather changes, deliveries get delayed.
Yeah.
Unexpected problems pop up.
Right.
So share an example of a time when you had to juggle a bunch of things at once,
Okay.
or deal with a sudden change of plans,
Mhm.
or maybe even a client request that made you rethink your whole approach.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah. Did you use any tools or strategies to stay organized?
Yeah.
Like a project management app or a color-coded calendar?
Oh, that's good.
And how did you communicate with your team to make sure everyone was on the same page?
These are great points.
Yeah.
It shows you can handle things when they change,
Yeah, exactly.
which happens all the time.
Yeah.
Okay, let's get to the heart of what a landscape gardener does.
Okay.
This question really gets into it.
All right.
How do you ensure that the plants and trees in your care are healthy and thriving?
All right. This is where you get to really show off what you know about plants.
Okay.
Don't just talk about the basics like watering and weeding.
Okay.
Talk about how much you know about soil health, managing pests and diseases, the right way to prune. Give specific examples, like what types of soil amendments have you used to fix problems like compaction or when there aren't enough nutrients?
Okay.
And if you've ever used organic pest control, talk about that for sure.
Oh,
Don't be afraid to get into the details,
Right.
The interviewer wants to see your passion for plants
Okay.
and how committed you are to keeping them healthy.
Okay.
What do you think's most important when answering this one?
I think it's showing that you're proactive
Yeah.
about caring for the plants. Like you're not just reacting to problems. You're trying to prevent them in the first place.
Mhm.
So things like regular soil testing, checking for pests, early understanding what each plant needs.
Yes.
That shows expertise.
You got it.
Okay. All right, let's move on to a question that lets you show off your problem-solving skills.
Ooh, I like this.
All right, can you give an example of a time when you had to troubleshoot and resolve a complex issue on a job site?
Okay, story time.
Yeah, exactly.
What kind of story is going to really impress them? The best ones are about using critical thinking.
Okay.
And finding creative solutions.
Bro.
So pick an example where you had a tough challenge,
Okay.
like a design flaw, a drainage issue, or a sudden infestation,
Okay.
and then walk them through how you figured it out.
Okay.
How did you find the root of the problem?
Okay.
Did you talk to other experts? Did you have to get creative with what you had?
Yeah.
And don't forget to share what happened in the end.
Okay.
Did your solution work?
Okay.
What did you learn?
Right, like a good story has a beginning, a middle, and an end.
Exactly. And it should show the interviewer what you can do when it comes to solving problems.
I like it.
Hmm.
Okay, so this next question is all about staying current
Yeah.
because things are always changing.
Hmm.
How do you stay up to date on new developments and trends in landscape design and horticulture?
You got to show that you're a lifelong learner,
Yeah. Yeah.
Landscape design isn't just about what looks good. It's about understanding all the latest stuff like sustainable practices, new plant varieties, design technology,
Right.
all of it.
So don't just say that you read gardening magazines.
No.
Like mention specific publications or organizations,
Yeah.
websites, podcasts you follow,
Mhm.
conferences, webinars, workshops you've been to.
Yeah, and don't forget about all the online learning platforms.
That's true.
There's so much out there these days,
Yeah.
from quick courses on certain techniques to whole certificate programs.
Wow, so much to learn.
It never ends.
So if you're actively looking for new knowledge, that shows you want to stay ahead of the curve.
Exactly.
And it connects with that whole career development thing in RoleCatcher's Career Guide.
Yeah, speaking of which, their guide also breaks down the typical career path
Oh, really?
for landscape gardeners, from entry level to senior positions.
Oh, that's interesting.
It's cool to see how the responsibilities and the skills you need change as you get more experience.
I bet. And having a roadmap like that can be really helpful for people, especially those just starting out.
For sure, it's all about setting yourself up for success
Yeah.
and knowing where you could go in this industry.
I love that. Okay, next question. Let's talk about teamwork, which is so important in landscaping.
Absolutely.
Almost every project you're working with others.
Yeah.
Can you describe a time when you had to work collaboratively with other team members on a landscape project?
Okay, remember, teamwork's not just about getting along.
Right.
It's about communicating, effectively sharing responsibility, using your own skills
Right.
to reach a shared goal.
Okay.
So think about a project where you had to work closely with others.
Okay.
What was your role?
Mm-hmm.
What challenges did you face as a team?
Right.
How did you overcome them?
Yeah.
Did you use anything specific to help you work together?
Yeah.
Like regular meetings, project management, software, shared online documents,
Those are good ones.
and highlight your communication skills.
Yeah.
How did you get your ideas across? Listen to feedback and deal with conflicts.
Those are all great points to think about.
Yeah.
All right, on to a really important question, especially for a job that involves physical work and tools and equipment.
Yeah. Safety's huge.
How do you prioritize safety on a job site, both for yourself and other team members?
You got to show that you're committed to a safe workplace.
Hmm.
And it's not just about following the rules.
Yeah.
It's about being proactive and speaking up if you see something dangerous.
Yeah.
So mention any safety training or certifications you have,
Yeah.
like OSHA or first aid,
Mm.
and give examples of how you've gone above and beyond for safety. Like maybe you started a system for double checking equipment,
Yeah,
or made sure everyone wore the right gear, even for small tasks.
that's a good one.
It's all about showing that you get how important safety is.
Okay, love it. And for our final question in this set, this one tests how you handle things when they don't go as planned. Can you describe a time when you had to adapt to unexpected changes or challenges on a job site?
All right, this one's about showing how flexible you are
All right.
and how you solve problems under pressure.
Mm.
So think about a time a project went sideways.
Okay.
Maybe it poured rain and flooded the site,
Oh, no.
or a delivery was late,
Uh-oh.
or the client changed the design at the last minute.
Right. So how did you handle it?
Yeah.
Did you have to come up with a creative solution?
Hmm.
Reprioritize tasks? Or delegate differently?
The interviewer wants to see that you can stay calm,
Mm-hmm.
think on your feet,
Yeah.
and find solutions to keep the project moving.
Wow. These are all such insightful tips.
Yeah.
It's amazing how breaking down each question like that
Yeah.
and understanding what the interviewer is looking for can make such a difference.
Huge difference.
And RoleCatcher's AI can really help with that too.
Absolutely. It can analyze how a question is worded
Mm-hmm.
and suggest how to structure your answer to highlight the skills and experience the employer wants.
It's like a personalized guide for making the perfect answer.
I love that. And speaking of personalized guidance, RoleCatcher's Career Guide also has insights into different career stages for landscape gardeners,
Yeah.
from entry level to senior positions.
Like a roadmap for your career.
Right. It can be really helpful to see examples of what people at each stage are doing
Yeah,
and what skills they've learned.
for sure.
It's all about giving you the knowledge
Mm-hmm.
and confidence to navigate the job market.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And RoleCatcher is a fantastic resource to help you do just that.
It is now. Before we move on to some more tips from RoleCatcher, I think we should highlight one more amazing feature.
Okay, yeah. Their AI feedback system, it's really something else.
It is a game changer.
It goes beyond just looking at your resume,
Yeah.
It can actually help you tailor your answers to specific interview questions.
Oh, wow. So instead of just hoping you're hitting the right points,
Yeah.
you can get suggestions based on data to make sure your responses are what the interviewer is looking for.
It's like a secret weapon
It is.
for your interview.
And it's not just about getting the job.
Right.
It's about doing well in your career.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, RoleCatcher's Career Guide has some awesome insights into different career stages for landscape gardeners.
They break it down from entry level all the way up to senior positions,
Mm-hmm.
showing how the responsibilities and skills you need change as you get more experience.
Yeah. It's like having a roadmap of where your career could go in this field.
I like that. And it can be really helpful to see real-world examples of what professionals at each stage are doing
Yeah, for sure.
and what skills they've developed.
For example, at entry level, you might be focusing on helping with planting, pruning, and maintaining tools.
Okay.
But a senior landscape gardener might be leading design projects and managing teams.
Wow, big difference.
Yeah.
It's really inspiring to see the potential career progression.
Hmm.
And it reminds you that continuous learning is key to moving up in any career.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Especially one that's as dynamic as landscape gardening.
Right.
The industry's always changing, with new technologies, sustainable practices, design trends popping up all the time.
So you got to stay curious.
You do.
Keep learning.
Yeah, for sure.
Speaking of staying current, let's go back to RoleCatcher's resources for a minute.
Okay.
They have a whole section on professional development in their career guide.
Yeah, they highlight how important it is to stay up to date on industry trends
Right.
by going to conferences, joining professional organizations, even getting advanced certifications.
Yeah.
It's about investing in yourself and showing employers that you're serious about growing.
It's true. And they even have a section on networking,
Oh, yeah.
which can be so valuable in this field.
It's true. Networking can feel a little scary sometimes.
Yeah.
But it's really just about building relationships
Yeah.
and connecting with people who love landscape gardening as much as you do.
Mhm.
It's not just about finding a job.
Right.
It's about learning from others, sharing ideas, building a support system.
Yeah.
Going to industry events, joining local gardening clubs, reaching out to people on LinkedIn
Yeah.
can open doors to opportunities you might not have even thought of.
It's like building a whole community around you
Exactly.
of support and knowledge.
Mhm.
And who knows, you might even find your dream job through a connection you made at a networking event.
You never know. It happens all the time.
Okay, so before we move on to some more tips from RoleCatcher's guide,
Okay.
I think we should talk about one of the key takeaways for anyone getting ready for a landscape gardener interview.
Yeah, I agree. What do you think is the most important thing for our listener to remember?
I think it's about showing both your passion and your expertise.
Yeah.
The interviewer wants to see that you genuinely love plants design, being outdoors, but they also want to know you have the technical skills and knowledge to do the job well.
It's about finding that balance between enthusiasm and professionalism.
Yeah.
And RoleCatcher's resources can really help you do that.
They provide the tools and insights you need to feel confident and ready. From understanding what the job involves to making great answers to tough interview questions.
So if you're feeling a little overwhelmed by the interview process,
Yeah.
remember, you're not alone.
Right.
RoleCatcher's got you covered.
Totally. Okay, so let's switch gears and talk about some more tips from RoleCatcher's guide that can give you an edge in the interview.
All right, let's do it. One of the things they really stress in the guide is researching the company and the interviewer beforehand.
Oh, yeah, like knowing who you're talking to.
Exactly, like knowing your audience before a presentation.
Right. Makes sense.
So, for example, if you're applying to a company that's all about sustainable landscaping, you'd want to highlight what you know about native plants and water conservation.
Okay.
Or if the interviewer has a background in garden design, play up your design skills.
Makes sense. Tailor it to who you're talking to.
Yeah, it shows you've done your homework and you're actually interested in that specific opportunity.
Right.
And that can make a big difference in how you come across.
It's true. They also say to prepare questions to ask the interviewer.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
I used to think that was just like a formality.
Yeah.
But it's actually a chance to show you're engaged and really interested.
Exactly. It's also a chance for you to learn more.
Oh, yeah.
Ask about the company culture, the team you might be working with, specific projects.
Okay.
Things like that.
And RoleCatcher even gives you some sample questions.
They do.
Like, what are some of the biggest challenges facing the company right now?
Ah, that's a good one.
Or what opportunities are there for professional development?
Those are great examples. Asking thoughtful questions shows you're thinking long-term,
Yeah.
Not just about this one job.
Right. Okay. And finally, they talk about networking.
Oh, yeah. Networking.
I know it can be a little intimidating.
It can.
But it's so valuable, especially in landscape gardening.
It really is. Networking's all about building those relationships, connecting with people who share your passion. It's not just about finding a job. It's about learning from each other, sharing ideas,
Yeah, building a community.
Exactly.
Right.
And the guide suggests things like joining professional associations, going to industry events, even reaching out to local landscape gardeners for informational interviews.
Oh, interesting.
Even if those conversations don't lead to a job offer right away,
Yeah.
you're still gaining insights, expanding your network. You might even find a mentor.
Oh, that's a good point.
Someone to guide you along your career path.
And speaking of career paths, we should mention one of the most encouraging things we learned from RoleCatcher.
You mean the job outlook?
Yes. The positive job outlook for landscape gardeners.
Oh, yeah, it's looking good.
10% growth over the next decade. That's huge.
It's a great time to be getting into this field.
It is. And that growth's driven by a few things,
Like what?
Like the increasing demand for green spaces.
Yeah.
In cities and in rural areas. And people are more aware of sustainability now.
Absolutely. People are realizing how important it is to connect with nature and create beautiful outdoor spaces that work well.
So as we wrap up this deep dive on preparing for a landscape gardener interview, let's leave our listener with one final thought.
Okay, I like it.
How can you leverage your unique skills and experience to stand out in this job market?
That's the question. What makes you different?
Yeah.
Maybe you're amazing with a certain type of plant.
Okay.
Or you're passionate about sustainable design.
Yeah.
Or you have a talent for making truly unique gardens.
Whatever it is, own it.
Yeah.
Let your personality shine through.
For sure. And remember, the world needs passionate and skilled landscape gardeners.
It does.
To help us connect with nature and create those beautiful, sustainable spaces for everyone.
That's a great way to end this.
It is. I hope our listener feels empowered and ready to go crush that interview.
Me too. So to everyone out there with a green thumb and a love for the outdoors, go out there, get your hands dirty, and create something amazing.
And don't forget RoleCatcher for all the resources and support you need.
Yes, RoleCatcher. Happy gardening, everyone.